I know I haven't posted in a really, actually ridiculously long time, but I've been super busy, which is actually kind of why I want to post a video. See, I'm a senior this year, so I'm filling out all these crazy college apps, and it's taken up a lot of time. I can't even tell you how many times I revised my MIT application. It's just crazy how much work college applications really require. And you know, a lot of people are like, oh, senior year is so easy. I have like 2 classes and like 4 APs and all these college apps. And so I've actually been a lot more busy and stressed out this year than any year. But amongst all this being stressed, I just kind of felt like college is such a huge part of my life right now, and at one point or another, I think is a huge part of everyone's lives, and the admissions process is really something that is relevant to a lot of people. So I kind of just wanted to talk about that and maybe give some tips on how to manage time and stuff like that. So yeah, this is what this video will be about. So the number one tip I have to say is start early. A lot of my main essays, actually, I wrote parts of them earlier junior year, and I just kind of like, oh, well, that would be a good topic for an essay. So I'd encourage everyone to just kind of write, like, if you ever get inspired about something random, like an orange. I didn't write about an orange, just clarifying. But if you get super inspired by an orange and it gives you some philosophical ideas on the meaning of life, just write about it. And then you never know, because you might be able to use it later with all the types of questions that colleges ask you for the application process. Also, make sure you do SAT testing and ACT testing ahead of time, because I know for me, I did not do very well in the first SAT, which meant that I had to take it again, but there wasn't any testing over the summer, so I had to wait all the way until October, which was really close to my early action deadline for MIT, which is November 1st. So don't wait off that long, because if you bomb it the second time, you're kind of screwed. And then also, during the school year, it's really hard studying. So just juniors, if you're a junior, do it ahead of time. Also, another thing that you have to worry about at this time of year for me is scholarships. Not to mention the stress of once you've turned in an application of having to wait for it. I mean, believe me, in 8 days, MIT releases their application decisions, and so I'm like freaking out right now and I can't focus on finals or anything. But anyways, besides that stress, which I recommend chocolate, it is a very good stress relief, and yeah, just chocolate, running is very good. When I'm freaking out, I'll just run away, and it really helps. But as I was saying, sorry, I'm kind of being ADD right now, and yeah. But anyways, as I was saying, scholarships. Definitely subscribe to a scholarship website or something like that. A lot of schools have binders with scholarships, but really look into those as soon as possible. Apply to as many as you possibly can, because I can't tell you how important they are. I mean, I'm an idealist, so I'm like, okay, if I get into my dream school, I'll pay for it somehow later, but I'm going there. And so definitely look for scholarships if you're someone like me who is an idealist like that, because it's really, really important. I can't even express how important it is to do things early, because I'm a procrastinator, and luckily I didn't procrastinate on this as much, but a lot of people do. And so, while you're working on all these college apps and you have all these things to worry about, here are some tips to help make your day a little bit less stressful. Number 1, try to avoid thinking about college as much as possible, because once you open Pandora's box of college talk, you will be worried and more nervous every single second after you start talking about it. Because once you have that conversation and you start ranting off about your top choice school, you'll just be consumed with worry. So just try and avoid the subject. I know it's hard because you just want to talk about it all the time. But don't, because it'll be very stressful. Although I'm kind of not obeying that rule right now because I'm talking about, but I'm a bad example. Anyways, number 2, make sure that you're busy doing other things. Make sure that you have something like cross country to keep you occupied, that you're hanging out with your friends, that you're actually doing your schoolwork instead of succumbing to senioritis. Just make sure that you're occupied so that you don't, like when you're not working on the applications, you don't have to be worrying about college all the time and clicking onto MIT's website 100 bazillion times. Because it's not going to help, and it's just going to make you more stressed out and feel like you have more to do than you actually have to do, you know? The other thing is that I know that during the school week when I had a ton of homework, I would do college apps, which technically is good to be doing work, but not when you're skipping out on AP Bio and stuff. So, what I recommend is to not do any college app stuff during the week. Set aside a specific time when you're going to work on it. And I know with procrastinators, especially, the urge is there. When you're stuck doing really boring, I don't know, English or something, the urge is to go and write a really fun, creative college essay. But don't, because it's bad. And then also, once you get through the stress of applying and then you wait a really, really long time to get your decision, just when you get accepted, because no matter who you are, you're going to get accepted somewhere. It may not be your first choice. Like, I'm pretty much going to get rejected for sure from my first choice. But you're going to get in somewhere and you're going to college. But when you do, realize that, hey, I'm going to college. Just make sure that you don't fail out of all your classes. Sure, you know, procrastinate a little more, go on YouTube a couple more times, you know, kick back a little more. I mean, I can understand. Hey, we all gotta let loose sometime. But don't just completely fail everything, because that's just going to hurt you in the end. And colleges can always take back their decisions, so you have to be really careful about that. And then, one more thing is, I mean, my parents are kind of cheapskates. So my dad wouldn't pay for a financial advisor or a college advisor, so I was kind of in the dark about all this. And I just recommend going to each individual website, look at everything really thoroughly, like early action, early decision. Just remember those names because some of them are binding, and if it's not your top choice school, you don't want it to be binding. And even if it is, you know, if you don't get enough financial aid, you don't want it to be binding. So just be very careful about things like that. Do a lot of research, preferably ahead of time. And just, you don't need to have an advisor. It can help. But if you don't, just make sure that you stay committed and that you stay informed. I really recommend College Prowler. It definitely helps you get an idea of how students feel going to a certain school. And with that said, I wish you all good luck for college admissions, whether you're there right now or you'll be there in next year or in a couple of years. I'm sure you'll all do amazing and go to college. Anyways, bye and subscribe.